All right, this is a review. Today is the 19th of September, and we are reviewing this kind. Do you remember that this is a collection of things, but only certain things can go together? Do you remember when you put two p's together, you don't say 2p? If it's a multiply, it's really what? P to the second power. Very good. Everybody write what this one would be. I'm going to pause for a second. You don't have to write the original problem. You just need to write the answer. Turn it my way, and I'll tell you if you did it right. I'll pause. We try that one. So back with you. Here's how you should have been thinking this one through. The 6 and the 2. I saw quite a few people put those together and then call it 8. What's wrong with that? They added. What should they have done? Multiply. 6 times 2 is 12. There's 1, 2, 3. Oh, wait a minute. That's already a 2 of them in the first place. That's y squared. You add together this one is y to the third. That'll make y to the fourth. That'll make y to the fifth. See what I did there? I just counted up all my y's and put y to that power. And last is p's. There's 2 of them. So is 2p logical? No. What should it be? p to the power of 2. Very good. All right, I'm going to pause for a second. So here's the other kind that we worked on yesterday. Or I'm sorry, on Friday. We had ones where you would, I'm going to pause for a second. All right, so we had 1 over 2 over 3 over 4. Do you remember that we changed this from a divide to a multiply? And you had a funny, you said your teacher used to always say, just flip and multiply. Exactly. So you flip and multiply. Change that to multiply and flip it over, and then show me what you think it is. I'll pause while you try it. Okay. Saw a bunch of people, and I saw this. They changed it to times 3/4. What's wrong with that? You got to flip it. Exactly. So we make it 4 over 3, and then you multiply. 1 times 4 is 4. 2 times 3 is 6, 4 6, and some people reduce that. Is it okay to reduce 4 6? Yes. Here's my saying. If you can factor it, you should. 2 can multiply to 2 times 2. 6 can be multiplied with 2 times 3. When there's 1 on the top and 1 on the bottom, that's how you can reduce really well. Okay, the next kind I told you about was the kind where you split them up. And that was like, say we had 30, and I said break it into 3 times 10. Did we stop right there? No, we kept going, and the 10 turned into what? 5 and 2. Very good. And then you list them in order, and you say this times this times this. So what would it be? 2 times 3 times 5. Exactly. That was called finding the prime factorization. Big complicated word, but what it has in it is primes. These. Why do we stop on them? Because they were prime. You couldn't go further. That makes them prime. Factorization just means you factored things. You turned it into something times something. So this is called prime factorization. Would you please prime factor that? And then turn it my way when you think you have it. If you're wrong, it's okay. I just want to see an attempt at least. Recording again. Okay, there we go. 5 and a 10. Now what? Yes? Yep. Final answer? Just list them in order.
5, 1, 5, 2.
You don't need a 1 because 1's not prime.
5.
And one more.
5.
There you go. Now, who's got those listed even in a better order? Yes, sir. This is an okay answer. This isn't wrong, and you might have done it a different way, but didn't you get 2 5s and a 2? Okay, so how are you supposed to end with? Yes, sir, in the back. Yes, except even better than 5 5, because now they're in order, 2 5 5, but even better than that. How come you're the only person who knows how to do this? Keep going. 2 times 5 squared, because 2 5s being multiplied means they're put to a power. Okay. There's your final answer for that one. That's called prime factorization. Since only about half of you actually wrote it all the way out, We're going to try one more like that. This is the big one, 100. There's like a zillion ways you could start this. I'll pause while you break this one down. At the end, it's going to be like 2 to the 5th times 5 or something like that. I'll pause while you try to break this one up. Okay. Our oldest, wisest member, fire when ready. What'd you break it into? 10 and 10. And then what'd you do? And then what'd you do? 2 and a 5. And then how would you write the final answer to be the most right? Okay, all you got to do is list them in order from small to big. What do you got? Yep. And how come I always have to call on her to do this part? Come on, somebody else. Put them together. Yes, sir. Yes, there we go. 5 to the power of 2 and 2 to the power of 2. Nice. That's called prime factoring. That's on the ACT test. You're just a little bit smarter. There's only 200 things to know on the ACT. You got another one down. Okay. So, what's the new thing for today? The new thing that you've never done before. It's just changing words into math. Kind of, yes, it has numbers. But sometimes you don't know the number. Like, what if I said, I don't know how much you have, but I'm going to give you $2 more than whatever you had in your dream world, but not actually happening. But imagine that I handed him $2. Do you get, I don't know how much he had before? What do I put when I don't know how much somebody has? A variable, yes, good. So what's a good variable for money? M for money. So I'm going to say he had M, and now what does he have if I actually give him $2? Yeah, but total, how much does he have? M plus 2. Do you get what I'm saying? I don't know how much he had, but now he has whatever he had plus 2 more. All right. Now, it's pretty likely, like most kids, they don't carry around any cash. Not many people have cash on them. Some people do. There's some people that believe in carrying around lots of cash. Like I knew a guy who always had $400 on him. And that's a little bit dangerous too, because as soon as somebody knows that you always carry like $400 on you, that makes you a target. So it's not actually very smart to carry that much money. So if you have, I have no idea, but imagine for a moment she's got some amount of money on her, in her backpack and whatever. Don't tell us, but imagine that you did. If I don't know how much, and it's probably different than him, what should I do for a variable? What should I not use for a variable? M, because that's how much you had. So if it's for her, sure, it can be Z, it could be anything. It better not be M, though, unless I know it's the same as him. You see what I'm saying? Because if I say M, I'm saying she's got the same amount as he does. So I don't know what you got. I'll call it Z. Whatever. Then, if I give her $5, how much does she have now? Z plus 5. This is called writing an algebraic expression. Let me ask you this important question. Why is this not called an equation? Equations have answers, yes, but this could have an answer. Exactly. If we know the answer, it'll say like equals 25. That's an equation because an equation has to have an equals sign. These don't. These are just called an expression. They're just sitting there. You're not supposed to add them or subtract them or solve them. They just sit there. All right? So what if I was talking about John? This will be a typical question for today. John has some amount of money. Sarah has some amount of money. Then they find $25 in an envelope. How much do they have now? Who could explain this one to me? What am I going to write? Yes, sir. It was John and Sarah, and they found $25. Plus 25. That's it. Whatever you don't know, you put a letter for. Whatever you do know, you have to put a number for. All right, now there's a couple other words that you need to know, like plus is pretty obviously meaning plus. But what are some other plus words out there? Where if I say this word, it actually means plus. Some is correct. And I don't mean like S-O-M-E. Addition. Additional. Could have an A-L at the additional. He had $12 additional. That means add. And also implies add. Like this and that. Grande means big. With? Yes, I think with could work. All right, so what are words that mean subtract? Like, hey, whatever you have, give me $5. Whatever he has, I don't know. I'm going to put M. Give me $5. Now he has $5 less. And that means difference. You are correct, sir. Yup. What else you got? Yep, he has 5 less than he had before. Exactly. It's all good. All right. That's what your homework is like for today. So I want to hand it out and get started on it. It is just simply making those, translating it from words into little expressions. I'm going to pause while I hand those out. And we're started again, and here's your worksheet. And number 1, it says 7 less than 3 times a number. What? How am I supposed to know what number it is? Don't just pick a number. A lot of kids go, well, I don't know what number, so I'll pick 12. No. If you don't know the number, put a N for number. Okay? Now I'm going to start with that. But now what's wrong with that? Why can't I just say N and then be done? It's got to be less than, so that's a subtract. Very good. And what else do I got to do? You need a 3 in there, 3 times the number. How do I do that? What's the shortcut way to do 3 times the number? N times 3, or 3 times N. Usually we put the number in front, so I'm going to put it there. But you were right. N times 3 would have been fine. What is it still missing? Read it again from the beginning. What does it say? 7 less. So what do I do? 7 less than this. Subtract 7. Number 1. 7 less than 3 times the number. This is 3 times the number, and this is 7 less than that. Yep. No, wait. Multiplying will increase something, but increased is actually an add word. If I said I took your amount of money and I increased it by $5, that means plus 5. All right. So going on to number 2. 4 times a number. Oh, wait. Who knows that already? What is it? 4 times N. Good. Thank you, Miss S. And then increased by, what's that mean? What? Plus 27. There you go. That's it. All right. Later it says the words split evenly. What do you guys think that means? Divide. Very good, sir. If you split evenly, you're dividing it up. You've heard of that, right? So later on, when you see that, don't be surprised. All right. Now for today, we have 2 goals. Number 1 is this is your homework. So obviously, that's your top priority to get that done. But this is kind of easy. So we're actually going to start our review worksheet today. So you're assigned this, and realistically, you're going to finish this in like 6 minutes. Then I'm going to give you this worksheet that you just start. You're going to do the first couple of problems of it. Okay? So this sucker will go quick. The next one will take us a little more time. So I'm going to hand out that review worksheet, and we'll do the first couple of it. I'm going to pause for a second. Okay, and now introducing the blue worksheet. The yellow one you'll finish in class. I see some kids that are down to only like 2 left. That's good. So look at the blue one for a second. Hopefully it looks a little bit like review, because this is a review of everything we've done so far this year leading up to our first test. Our test is not tomorrow, which would be Tuesday. Our test is the next day, which is Wednesday. Okay? Your first test in here. This is the first chance you have to get a grade in here. Wouldn't it be so much nicer to start with a strong grade like an A or a B? And all it takes is to know how to do the stuff on this blue worksheet. If you know everything on this blue worksheet, then you're set for the test. What if you don't get some of the ones in the blue worksheet? What would be a thing you should do? Ask. Ask me. There's 3 adults in this room that you could ask how to do any of these problems. All you got to do is ask. And davidserver.com has videos to go with it too. You're right. Sir. Absolutely. But for right now, you can't take it home yet. You have to stay here for a little while. But yes, the blue one is your assignment for tonight, and it's part of it. You can't have to do the whole blue one or you go insane. Too much. But today, what I would like to have you do is just add on that first section. You see where it naturally ends on the blue worksheet? Those are super easy ones, so don't stress that it's too many. You'll be able to handle it. It ends at 12. So what I want you to do on the blue worksheet is go up to number 12. All right? So the yellow one, all. The blue one, just do the first 12. Those are the simplest kind, where you're just combining things that are alike, the like terms. A's go with A's, M's go with M's, numbers go with numbers. All right, so let's start the blue one together and get a few easy ones out of the way. I went to number 1 because that one's actually pretty easy. Let's do number 2. All right, Mr. JG, read me number 2.
R.
Oh, sorry, JR. Read me number 2.
4n plus 4 plus 1 plus 3.
I think that's 3.
Oh, my bad. 1
Yep.
5b plus 3 minus 6.
All right, tell me, which of these can go together? 5v and v, very good. What do they make? 6v. A lot of people get confused when there's no number. You can always put a 1 in front if you want. 5v plus 1v makes 6v. And then how about these guys? Aren't they both just normal numbers? So which one wins, the negative team or the positive team? Negative. How many negative players are still left?
5.
So negative 5. And that also, by the way, could have been negative 5 plus. Either way, a negative 5 has to be here. But since it's with addition and subtraction, you can reverse them like that if you want. I like to put it that way. Okay, so that was number 2. Let's skip in further and do another, maybe a little bit tougher one because it looks weird. Look at number 10. Mr. CF, would you read me number 10? Yep. What's up? Is it a minus 11? And then what? Plus 3. Thank you. Now, which ones go together? Can that P go with an 11? No, they're not the same. We'll have to leave them separate. This P can't go with anything, so it stays exactly the same and just comes down. What do you think the final answer is? You got it, negative 8. Because these guys and these guys fight. Why are they fighting? Because they're not in the same team. One's on the negative team, one's on the positive team. All right, final answer, negative P minus 8. What if you'd said negative 8 minus P? It's the same thing. With add and subtract, you can reverse like that. Even with multiply, you can reverse like that. Divide doesn't like it, though. If you take 8 divided by 2, it's totally different than 2 divided by 8. Subtract where there's only one subtract, that also doesn't like it. 7 minus 2 is not the same as 2 minus 7. The negative team is bigger on the one than the other. So, got to be careful with those. But if you're adding things or multiplying things, you can reverse them. I personally like it as negative P minus 8, but you decide. That was number 10. So you're doing 1 through 12 on the blue worksheet, along with the yellow worksheet, and all that's due tomorrow. You got it? All right. Now this is the part where we have got your top 20s graded from the other day. We're going to see how many things you knew more than last time. She's doing them right now. Gotcha. So there were some people here that weren't here that day and therefore haven't taken the second one. So not all of you are going to get the results, but if you were here, I graded it. So that's all I got for you for